Check. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into the second video of my camera review of the Pentax K1000. I mentioned it in my first video, and I thought, what better time than the second video to do that review. So you might notice some things are already starting to change on what you see behind me and myself and all that stuff. I put on a nice shirt this time, and I have featured on my desktop background my friend Heather, whose photograph I took. That was back in October. Unfortunately not on my film camera. I didn't have it then, but I did take it on the camera being used for this video, and I really loved it. We set her against a sunset and just got that great hair light, and obviously I can go more into detail in other videos about, you know, certain compositions of photos and things like that, but I just thought that was a great photo to kind of do. And I think every episode I'll feature a different picture as my background, so it doesn't seem like I'm just some weirdo that has it as their background. For a while my actual background was my dog, which was almost the background for this video, and then I changed my mind, and then here we are. I wanted to just kind of get the ball rolling with my film camera and talk about it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I use to shoot with as far as film, things like that, things to keep in mind if you're looking for a film camera, and just overall thoughts on it, all that kind of good stuff. For those that may not know, I do collect cameras. You can kind of see some of them behind me there. I have a few more upstairs, and I just like the way cameras are designed, some of them being so simple. For example, this one, which is a Agfa B2 SpeedX Junior, and it's a medium format camera. I know this only because it takes 120 film, not 35mm film. What's so interesting about this one, I know it's not really a review about this camera, but what's interesting about this is how simple it is. Even more simple than my Pentax, which I'll talk about in just a second. This camera is either an instant picture or timed picture. I never use the timer on it, so I don't really want to mess with changing it, so I really just take it myself. But all you really change on here, other than what type of film you put in, is the aperture, and it's only from 11 to 32. So really not a big range of photo taking. So this camera is really probably best used outside, just because it needs a lot of light. Even an 11 is not like that much open. It's somewhere in the middle. So there's that sunny 16 rule, which of course I pretty much have been applying to this camera, but it's still just really cool. I have in here some film now. I'm on the 9th of 12 or 16 pictures. I'm not quite sure, but I guess I'll figure out as I'm going. But it's really great, and you know, just simply putting it up, I mean, that's it. I just took a picture. So, and then to go to the next one, I sit here and I wind, and now we're on 10. But yeah, really it's just a cool little camera. It's great. I actually can take kind of selfies with it, which I just did. And it's probably going to be super dark, so hopefully it comes out well. If not, we'll see. Yeah, just a really cool little camera. I like to bring it around. You know, again, I have some other ones up there. Some of them don't work. Some of them are just for show, or some of them do work and I haven't taken out yet. There's a Minolta back there that I got from my neighbor Jason. It was his parents-in-law, and they didn't want it anymore, so I said I'll take it. I would hate for them to have thrown it out. And from what I can tell, that one works, but I haven't been able to totally take it for a test drive yet. I haven't put film in it yet. I've been a little worried. And also needs a new battery, so the light meter wouldn't be working, and I'm not too comfortable without the light meter yet. So, all right, let's jump right in here with the Pentax now. I wasn't 100% on making this video today. I didn't realize it, and I was going to be making it, and had I known, I wouldn't have put a fresh roll of film in the back, so then I would have been able to show you the inside. However, I did put a fresh roll of film in here, and it's already cocked and ready to go, so I can't open the back. That being said, that doesn't mean I can't show you the camera otherwise. So again, Pentax K1000. It's made between the mid-70s through, I think, the 90s. Pretty long run for this camera, and that's really because of how simple it was. There wasn't really much that needed to be changed. One thing it does lack, which I kind of wish it had, but at the same time I'm glad it doesn't, is the aperture priority or shutter priority. It has neither one of those. This is a full manual camera, so that means you control everything about it. ISO in the film that you buy, the aperture on the lens here, and then of course the shutter speed, which is on top. This particular lens that I have is a f2 50mm lens, and it works pretty great. Obviously, it's best during the day. Most photography is best during the day with more light that you can control. It's easier to take away than to add with that kind of thing, unless you have a flash, which the person whom I bought it from, it came with a flash on eBay. It was a great price. I got this for Christmas. We paid $150 for it, which can be a little pricey, but again, it did come with a flash. It came with its own strap, and then it also came with, well, the lens. So sometimes, you know, you just buy the body and not the camera and body. No, the camera and lens, I should say. And then, you know, I've been shooting with it fairly regularly, trying to find every opportunity to kind of take it around with me. It's fairly light. I wanted it to be a sort of behind the scenes camera, something I can shoot with when I'm on like a photo set or a video set, a movie set, whatever the case may be. I thought it was a great little camera to have, and I kind of got inspired by it by Ryan Johnson, who just did The Last Jedi. He did a lot of these behind the scenes photos. He had a Leica camera, which is out of my price range for now, and he took a lot of great behind the scenes photos, which were added to due to the fact that they were grainy and black and white and all that kind of stuff. So I've been pretty much shooting predominantly black and white with this camera, and I use the Ilford HP5 plus 400 film. Comes in a canister like this, and you know, with a little bit of lead on it. You feed it through the back, and you would be pressing it and kind of cocking it and pressing and cocking until it reaches 0, and then once you cock it again, you'd be on 1, and then, you know, obviously you're good to go. This particular roll that I bought, I like because it comes with 36 exposures. Some rolls obviously are 24. I also like this for the price. It's a solid film stock for $5.19 on B&H. I do think about switching every once in a while just to try different things, because this comes out to be just a hair dark, I feel like, sometimes with this film stock. So I kind of wanted to mix it up and try maybe Kodak Tri-X400, I think is the name of it. And I would like to see how that plays out, but who knows. This camera goes from bulb all the way up to 1/1000th of a second, which is pretty good. And then it has 1/60th of a second is your flash sync speed. So again, I have the flash up there, throw it on there, put it at 60, and we're good to go. I've used the flash, and what's great about it is it has the options of full, half, and quarter. So depending on what you need it for, I put it on full because I wasn't sure. And when I got the pictures back, it was just like from a totally dark room, it just looked like we just threw a spotlight on the whole room and just really brightened it up, but not in a way like that looked natural. It really did look like it was just thrown light on there. So definitely in the future, I'll have to be a little more conscious of that so that we don't get like deer in the headlights kind of looks. To open it, you would just pull this up real hard and the back door opens, which is makes for pretty simple change, a quick change. Once you load the film in there, you just, again, you crank it until it's good to go. And then there's this little handle here that comes up when you're done with the film that you can just rewind the film back after you push the button on the bottom. Now, when I have my first roll of film in here, one thing I noticed, like I've heard my buddy Patrick has a Minolta similar to the one behind me, and he pushed the button once and then was able to rewind it, no big deal. This one I kind of did the same thing, and it started to grind a little bit, so I found just holding the button down and then rewinding it is just a safer bet. It doesn't take much more effort to do it, and you know, obviously there's little to no risk of my film breaking, so which is really great. And then you know, I send them away to a place called the Darkroom in California, and they scan them for me and send me a link to my digital files, and I download them and all that stuff, and then a few days later I get my negatives back, which I put into a binder. Okay, so here is my film negative binder. Just started it recently, and it's great place to kind of hold your negatives. Obviously individual sheets for individual projects, and I can label them, what they are, with the date, file number. Not so many film negatives so far, but That doesn't mean I can't eventually fill this whole book up. And it's nice because if down the road, you know, you somehow lose the digital files, you have your negatives that you can always either scan yourself or have somebody scan for you, and then you know, you can make prints up again. And I feel like it's better to go from the original source to then make a print than necessarily maybe the digital file. So just something cool. And also it's cool to have like a tangible, you know, look at my work kind of thing, a physical item. At least that's how I feel. I like a solid physical thing to hold and look through and remember. And behind me down here, I even have I have a file cabinet with pretty much every project I've worked on since I've started archiving things, and I have like a folder for all my projects and with scripts and call sheets and all that kind of stuff. So if I ever need to call back on it, I can look it up and you know, have it on file. I probably have digital files of them too. I tried to scan things or just have them you know, digital files first and then printing them out, so I have a hard copy as well. So I try to keep them in multiple sources, that way it's harder to lose track of them, and then you're not worrying about them down the road. So back to with this camera, obviously this is a really great camera. It's great for someone who's starting out in film like myself, who maybe came from a digital background or has no experience with photography whatsoever, but really just wants to jump full into it with some knowledge of how cameras work. I mean, if you understand aperture and ISO and all that kind of stuff, or have a good understanding of it, it's pretty straightforward. Now, the nice thing also is you don't totally need to, because when you look through this viewfinder, it has this light meter inside, and that's what it's the only thing the battery in the bottom needs, which is down here. So everything else is mechanical except for that light meter, and all it is a little needle, and it just goes up and down to tell you up obviously is overexposed, down is underexposed, right in the middle is perfect exposure. So if you just follow that, then you're pretty much solid. You know, you just keep changing things, especially if you don't really know how to do it but you want to learn. As long as you're in the middle, you're solid, you're good to go. You know, if you twist the aperture, if you change the shutter or whatever. Now I recommend, if you're doing a low light photo, I should say, and you're using a low shutter speed, make sure you're on a tripod, because anything lower than like 1/60th of a second, unless you're using a flash, is going to be really like shaky, handheldy look, and it's going to look blurry, and the picture probably won't come out very well. So if you're using like 1/30th of a second or bulb or anything like that, use a tripod. I guarantee you'll thank me for it. Anything above that, you're probably good. Especially the faster it is, the more the handshake will be hidden. That's pretty much it. So I just wanted to do a quick review of this, and I will see you next time. Peace out.